Alright, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Swagner17, and today I'm going to be predicting the Super Bowl 54 champion before Week 1 has even begun. Now, I made this exact same video last year for Super Bowl 53 and the 2018-2019 NFL season, and a lot of my predictions were spot on. I predicted the Rams would beat the Saints in overtime in the NFC Championship and go on to the Super Bowl. That couldn't have been a better prediction. I also predicted the Eagles would beat the Bears in Wild Card Weekend, and I also got a lot of other teams' records predicted correctly. So I'm going to try to do the exact same thing this year, and we're just going to go through it by division, starting off with the Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, the AFC North division. Now, the way that I'm just doing this on Madden just because it's easy for me, but now the way this is set up right here looks pretty accurate to me. Now, I do think the Browns are going to win the division. I want to give them 11 wins. I want to say they're an 11-5 team. I think they're really ready to win the division and make it to the playoffs. Now, I think the Ravens and the Steelers will miss out on the playoffs, despite the Ravens having a good shot to make it. I just think it's going to come down to a Week 17 win and you're in, and as we know, the Ravens struggle to do that. So I don't think the Ravens are going to make it. I think they go 9-7, miss out on the playoffs. Steelers, I give them an 8-8 season, don't make the playoffs. And Bengals, I think they're probably the 31st or 32nd best team in the NFL. I think they're scheduled for a 3-13 record. Okay, moving on to the AFC South, a very competitive division. Lamar Miller just went out with an ACL tear. Obviously, Andrew Luck has retired. The Titans are the same old team, it seems, and the Jaguars have Nick Foles. Now, I don't want to write off the Colts just yet, and not the Texans either. So this is a really tricky division for me, but I only think one of them is going to come out of it, and I'm honestly going to have to give it to the Titans. I think Marcus Mariota is going to have a solid year, but more importantly, Derrick Henry is going to get the job done with over 1,200 rushing yards. I say the Titans go 10-6, making the playoffs. I think the Texans go 9-7, barely don't make it. And I want to say the Colts, they struggle early on, and they fight back, but it's not good enough. I'll give them a 6-10 season. And the Jaguars, I think they are... It's tough for the Jaguars. I might have to come back to them. I'm going to give them a 9-7 record as well. But as for now, I say they don't make the playoffs. Moving on to the AFC East. This is where some bold predictions have to come in. Now, I really like the Bills this year. I think they are a pretty good team. But just today, they did release LaShawn McCoy, which was some pretty bad news for Bills fans. I was pretty upset about that myself. Obviously, the Patriots locking them in as the division winner, as they always do. So I'm going to give the Patriots a 12-4 record. Win their division yet again. Is it good enough for a first-round bye? I think so. I think it is. Patriots, first-round bye. Now, here's where some controversy may arise. I think the Jets will make the playoffs. I think the Jets are going to make the playoffs with a 10-6 record. Now, a couple years back, the Jets did have a 10-6 season where they didn't make the playoffs, which was unheard of for a 10-6 team to not make it. But this year, I think they're going to go 10-6, and I think they're going to make the playoffs. Now, as for the Dolphins, I think they are the absolute worst team in the NFL. There is some talk about some potential trades. There was a Jadeveon Clowney trade, but it looks like he just got shipped off to Seattle today. So that's unfortunate, and I don't think the Dolphins' defense is not very good. Minkah Fitzpatrick is the only star player I see. And if you're starting Ryan Fitzpatrick, you never know what you're going to get there. I think the Dolphins go 2-14 this season as the worst team in the NFL. And as for the Bills, I think they have a solid season. I'm going to say they go 8-8. Obviously not good enough to make the playoffs. So just a little recap. We have the Browns, we have the Titans, we have the Patriots, and the Jets, leaving two more spots, which come out of the AFC West. Now, I think it's safe to say we can lock in the Chiefs as the divisional winner right here, and I'm just going to straight out tell you the Chargers will take the other wild card spot. Raiders and Broncos, I'm sorry, let's start out with the Raiders. I think even with Antonio Brown, who This is going to be electric. I think they're going to have a 7-9 season. Miss out on the playoffs. Broncos, who acquired Joe Flacco, it's not going to be good enough. I also say they go 7-9. Miss out on the playoffs. As for the Chiefs, I'm predicting a strong 12-4 record, and they get the first round bye along with the Patriots. And I say the Chargers. Man, this is tough. I wanted to also give the Chargers 12-4, and they don't win the division due to. Let's just make it easy. Chargers go 11-5, making them either the 3. No, technically that would put them at the 5th seed, I believe. And so let's just recap the AFC now that we've finished up. So first round bye, we have the Chiefs and the Patriots. Next up, let's just go wild card weekend. It's going to be the Titans up against, I don't know, honestly. Let's just say Titans versus Browns, wild card weekend. And the other one will have to be Jets versus Chargers. I think that's a pretty good matchup. Jets versus Chargers. Unfortunately, I have to go with the Chargers. I think Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler, 2 good running backs. The only iffy part on the Chargers is their offensive line. Can they keep Phillip Rivers protected? If so, Keenan Allen's going to have a monstrous year. And I don't know about the Melvin Gordon holdout situation. I don't know what's going on there, actually. But I do think Keenan Allen is an elite receiver, and Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. Seriously? Like, this team's for real. They're ready. Hunter Henry's back from injury. It's going to be good. Chargers win in wild card weekend. Now, off to the other game. We said it was the Browns versus the Titans. I think this is going to be a great battle. I want to say Derrick Henry runs for close to 200 yards, but Baker Mayfield drives his team on a game-winning touchdown drive. Browns beat the Titans in wild card weekend. So next up, we would have the Browns versus, it's either the Patriots or the Chiefs. Let's just say Browns versus Patriots, Chiefs versus Chargers. Now, I think these are 2 very good games. Without taking too much time, I want to say the Chiefs just go ahead and win, all right? Chiefs beat the Chargers in the divisional round. They had a bye week. Andy Reid is one of the best coaches after a bye week. That's a really good record. I don't know the exact number, but a really good record. And unfortunately, that leaves the Browns traveling to Foxborough. And we all know the Patriots are going to beat the Browns in the divisional round. I'm going to give the Patriots the win. I say it's a close game. Baker Mayfield fights, but it's not good enough. The Patriots defense is pretty shut down, and Tom Brady's just going to do what he does. Patriots versus Chiefs, a rematch in the AFC Championship game. Now, I do think this is going to be a pretty similar game to last year. As we know, the Chiefs literally, if it wasn't for an offsides penalty, they would have been playing in the Super Bowl. Now, I think both teams have come a long way since then. Some few roster changes all around the board. But inevitably, the Patriots are the best. And as much as I hate to say it, they're going to go to another Super Bowl. The Patriots will make it to Super Bowl 54. I don't think they're going to win it. And you know why? Because I'm going to the NFC, and you'll see why. Okay, starting off with the NFC North. Unfortunately, the Lions. I'm sorry, Lions fans. It's just not going to be a good year for you guys. I like the Lions, but I'm going to have to give them a 5-11 record. Not good enough to do anything, really. The Bears are going to have a very impressive season, coming off frustrations with their kicker, Cody Parkey, in the wild card round last year. They're definitely going to bounce back from that. They are very motivated to win their division yet again, and honestly, I think they will. I think the Bears will repeat as divisional champs with a nice 11-5 record, good enough to win the division, and I think the Packers will sneak in to the wild card with a 10-6 record. Sorry, Vikings, just not good enough. I say the Vikings go 10-6 as well, so a good record, but unfortunately the Packers win out in a tiebreaker somehow. Packers wild card, Bears, divisional winners. But both of them will be playing on Wild Card Weekend due to what you'll see next. Okay, NFC South. This is where I'm going to get a lot of controversy. Last year, I predicted that the Saints would be the only team to make it out of this division. And as much as I want to say the exact same thing, I might just have to... Wait a second. Yeah, okay. I might just have to include either the Falcons or the Panthers. Obviously, the Saints are going to be divisional winners. The Saints will have the first round bye. I'm giving them... I want to give them a 13-3 record, but that might be a little too generous. So I'll just say 12-4 to be safe. 12-4, divisional winners, first round bye. And it's tough because I like the Panthers. I mean, I don't like them because they're in the Saints division, but I mean, I think they're a really good team. I think the Falcons, they just struggle to win games for some reason. They had a lot of injuries last year. But honestly, I think I'd choose the Panthers over the Falcons. I mean, they're pretty similar in teams, aside from the quarterback. Obviously, Cam Newton's mobile, but he can also throw pretty well. Matt Ryan's a better thrower. Matt Ryan's got Julio, but Cam Newton's got McCaffrey, DJ Moore, an emerging star. They got Luke Kuechly, but on the other side, Falcons have Deion Jones. It's pretty good. I'm excited to watch these two go against each other. I think the Saints will have no problem beating both of them, but I think these two are going to fight for that other wild card spot. And unfortunately, I forgot to mention the other team's records, but I say the Falcons, they're going to go 9-7, not make the playoffs. Buccaneers, I think they're going to get a little bit better. I don't even remember what their record was last year, but I think this year they'll go 5-11. And the Panthers, I say they go 10-6. Oh, my dog's barking. They go 10-6, sneak into the wild card, and like I said, Saints 12-4. I want to say 13-3, but we'll just say 12-4 to be safe. Saints make the playoffs, so that's already... I both have two teams from each of these first two divisions, meaning only the divisional winner will make it out of these next two divisions. Now, a lot of people will say the Eagles will win the division. Unfortunately, I think that's not the case. I don't think the Eagles have what it takes to make it, unfortunately. And that's a pretty bold statement, honestly. I think I wrote them off last year. Well, I had them making the playoffs, but, I mean, I had them... Actually, never mind. Just forget what I said, because I said the Eagles will beat the Bears in the wild card round, so I was right about that. But I almost didn't want to put them in the playoffs to begin with, just like I'm doing this year. And this year I'm just going to leave them out altogether. Redskins, not going to make it. Eagles, 9-7 record, not good enough to make it. Redskins, pretty bad team. I say they go, I want to say 4-12. Be generous with a 5-11 record. Cowboys will win their division with a strong 11-5 record. And the Giants, I'll give them a 6-10 record. A little bit better than the Redskins, but still they have some improvements to make all around the board. I think Daniel Jones will be a decent quarterback, though. So Cowboys, and that's it from that division. Leaving the NFC West, which is a pretty interesting division. We got Kyler Murray on the Cardinals. I mean, this is a similar story to last year. Josh Rosen, rookie quarterback, didn't do anything. Cardinals were the worst in the league. Now they have Kyler Murray. What's supposed to make it any different than last year? I don't know. I think the Cardinals will probably get fourth in their division. I'm going to give them a 6-10 record. They're going to win some games, but not good enough to make the playoffs. 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo back from injury, and that one running back, I forget his name. I want to say Matt Breida, and it's not Matt Breida. It's whatever guy they traded for. I forget. I can't believe I'm forgetting it. But 49ers they'll do good this year with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing to, what's his name, George Kittle and Marquise Goodwin and Dante Pettis. This is a pretty good receiving core for the 49ers. They have not the best O-line, but I think they're going to get the job done. And the 49ers have a good year. I say 8-8, not good enough to make the playoffs. Seahawks, they just got Jadeveon Clowney, which is actually kind of huge for them. Jadeveon Clowney with Bobby Wagner, that's just two elite defenders on the same field. It's going to be pretty fun to watch that. I don't like the Seahawks. I say they have a 9-7 record, not good enough to make the playoffs. Rams obviously win the division. I'll give them a 12-4 record, good enough for a first-round bye. Things are looking almost exactly like last year. Same 4 teams on top of the NFL: Chiefs, Patriots, Saints, Rams. I mean, those are the 4 best teams in the NFL. I think there's nothing holding them back from making it just like they were last year. Okay, so let's go into Wild Card Weekend. It's going to be the let's just start up here. So Bears face off against the Panthers. Packers face off against the Cowboys. Now, how many times have we seen Packers versus Cowboys? This is insane, and it seems like, you know, the Packers win every single time. And this time, I kind of want to give it to the Cowboys. I want to say the Cowboys can pull this one off. I'm in the exact same situation as last year. This is what I had as a wild card last year. Wasn't correct, but I mean the Cowboys still did pretty good in the playoffs. Just not good enough to make it all the way. This time I say the Cowboys defeat the Packers. I think the Packers are a pretty incomplete team. Aaron Rodgers is elite, but that defense is suspect, and we'll just see how good the Packers offense can be. But I think the Cowboys defense is going to overpower them, and the Cowboys should be able to defeat the Packers. And that other game is pretty interesting. Panthers against the Bears. I feel like that's a matchup you don't really see that often. But I think you're going to see it this year, actually, in the regular season. So the Panthers travel to Chicago to play the Bears. And I have to give the Bears the win here. I think their defense is too good. Cam Newton's not going to be able to be mobile. And they're going to shut down McCaffrey. Khalil Mack's going to be a monster. And the Bears are going to win. Taking us to the divisional round, where I don't know what the matchup would look like. Either Bears versus Rams or Bears versus Saints. I might say Bears versus Rams, and that leaves Cowboys versus Saints, which either way, these 2 games are going to be insane. Now, here's where the prediction gets pretty crazy. I want to say the Bears can defeat the Rams. I think they really can. Bears defeated the Rams last year, I believe, and Jared Goff just played absolute garbage because the Bears' defensive scheme is actually incredible. So I think they're going to do the same thing. Their defense is going to carry them to the Super Bowl, just like it did in 2005, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. Bears are going to make it to the NFC Championship, and that leaves the Cowboys against the Saints. These teams seemingly face each other every year. Last year, the Cowboys' defense shut down the Saints for one of their worst performances in franchise history, or recent franchise history. One of the worst games of Drew Brees' career, but I think, and the Saints do face the Cowboys in Week 4. It's going to be a pretty good game to watch, but in the playoffs, in the Superdome, which it is in the Superdome in the regular season as well, I think the Saints pull it off, and the Saints go to the NFC Championship to face the Bears in New Orleans, and I want to say Drew Brees somehow finds a way to win. We've seen this NFC Championship before in 2005. The Saints traveled to Chicago, and the Bears won. Bears made it to the Super Bowl, and they ended up losing to the Colts. But anyways, this time Saints going to beat the Bears, make it to the Super Bowl to face Tom Brady and the Patriots. This is the prediction I've been saying for so long. Basically every year I throw this prediction in there. Saints versus Patriots. I just want to see Brees versus Brady. You never really see that matchup. Those 2 teams never really face each other. So I just really want to see it. And hopefully Drew Brees will win the Super Bowl and retire as MVP of Super Bowl 54 and defeating Tom Brady. And that's how the story goes. Saints win. 10 years after they won Super Bowl 44. It's a 10-year anniversary. The NFL is rigged, so hopefully they'll actually rig it into the Saints' favor. Okay, this has been a really long video, and I've just been mumbling on, but anyways, that's my prediction. I also want to throw out a secondary prediction, because I always do that too, even though that's kind of cheating. But let's just say Bears versus Chiefs as the other prediction, I guess. Bears, Chiefs, Patriots, Saints. Those are my predictions. Saints gonna win. And if it's Bears against the Chiefs, I say the Chiefs win. Okay. That's it for the video. Freaking deuces.